Hello people, this is Power here with a review of the Kamen Rider Zi-O DX Memorial Ridewatch Set. So this is the premium Bandai exclusive Ridewatch set that consists of, we'll see that later. As you can see, the four main rider symbols of the watches that this consists of. The front of this box, the sides, and this is the back of all what it contains and such. So yeah, obviously this is the outer box of the set, or not the outer box because it's in the typical brown premium Bandai box. If you want to see that, watch the unboxing. But we're actually going to take some time with the box because it's actually kind of interesting how they handled it. So obviously, this is our actual box set. So I'll just jump cut to me removing this to avoid spoilers. So what we have right here is essentially the front of the box, because this is the side that we see when you open it. So as you can see, DX Memorial Ridewatch Set. As we can see, we have Zi-O, Gates, Wasp, and Tsukiyomi. And then to the front. Well, okay, I lied. This is the left because there's technically no front of the box because it's one of the sides. But as you can see, the ride watches, Kamen Rider Zi-O Memorial Ridewatch Set. Here's to the back. I keep lying. Here's the left because it doesn't make sense why you would go to the back yet. But as you can see, you have Sogo, Gates, Wasp, and Tsukiyomi. Although I kind of wish that this actually did say Tokuwa Sogo, but or just Sogo, but because this is everyone else's names, and I just find it funny that Tsukiyomi actually has to use both sides. But here's to the back of the box, which I really do like, as I like how the colors blend. Tsukiyomi really stands out. Again, this is Kamen Rider Zi-O, the DX Memorial Ridewatch Set. All of these numbers are literally just cycling between 2018 and 2068, which I find pretty interesting. And last but not least, this is the front of the box I was talking about. I don't know what side of the box this is supposed to be, but let's just get to the last one. So then here's the bottom of the box, which is essentially the same as the top because of this barcode that for some reason only on Wasp. If I understand it's supposed to be replicating like a box together, but technically people are really already selling this individually. So I don't know. Like, playing with the boxes are just fun because we can't get repetitive enough. Here's Zi-O's box close up. Obviously, there are many indicators showcasing that this is his first one. His rider symbol is in pink, and the Zi-O and Zi-O's significantly, or Sogo significantly highlighted. Gates. Was. Last but not least, Tsukiyomi. So here are the 4 ride watches randomly rearranged. Before we get to them though, I forgot to address this. The instructions are along with the this this box, just because obviously you can't pack these within the individual boxes. But this set of instructions are specifically for how, like, the general functions of the watches themselves. So just like that. So it's just the very general instructions. While this one are all of the quotes for each ride watch. So yeah, let's just get this over already. So first one we're gonna look at is the Zi-O Ridewatch Memorial version. Obviously, unlike the X8 ones, these ones are very similar to their original releases, because they technically can't change anything to make them different, because then that's not going to make them as show accurate. So, again, here's my original Zi-O Ride Watch. Obviously, the thing that's making these different is the fact my original Zi-O Ride Watch's sticker does not like, you know, sticking down, because it came like that. So for this one to be actually flat is really appreciative. So again, everything is the same. The QR code, the track, you know, Zi-O's Rider symbol 2018, that stuff. So let's just get this over with. So you get his announcement. Rider description. And Timeagen. So that might seem it, but then that's actually it just for its basic mode. To switch to, I don't know what the mode is specifically called, but to switch to the next mode, just simply hold the button. And now you know that you're in the next mode. So you get the rider announcement, but then you get a series of phrases from Tokiwa Sogo. Okay, so that's just a set. I heavily apologize for that. So that's just a sample of all the phrases. I honestly don't want to go through them again because it really hurt my back. So I'll actually I'll either use the footage I used for my demo for all the phrases, or I'll just say watch the demo for all the phrases because I actually don't want to hurt my back. But I want to say right now, all the phrases from all these characters, mostly from Zi-O, Gates, and Moz, they're a mix. They're a mix of everything. So like from the series, Heisei Generations Forever, I think that's only 2 phrases though, and then Over Corsair. So that's the amalgamation of the Colts. So I don't remember if I stated this already, but Sogo has 43 phrases. So he has the bulk of the phrases, and most of his, if you watch the demo, you can tell like I thought they were done, but they weren't. So yeah. For the next mode, again, you just hold this down. This is the Legend Rider mode. So this is an additional 6 phrases of Sogo's renditions of previous Rider catchphrases, mostly from Heisei Phase 2. So obviously, I forgot to say them, but because I'm just unprepared. So obviously, those 6 phrases are not from, but they're based off of Build, X8, Force, Gaim, Ghost, and Double. So yeah, and then obviously we're back to the normal mode. So here is Gates. Again, he's basically the same thing. I'm not gonna really go over, not really gonna go over the aesthetics because they're the same. So original Gates. And one thing I do have to actually note with the difference from what I can tell from this one to this one, with mine at least, because this one you can tell is kind of like tight. This one's actually smooth. So I actually appreciate that. Like, I did like the different feel of this one, but if it's supposed to be consistent, then I'm fine with it. So again, like Gates, this is the normal sounds first. So all of that's the same until we do this mode, which Gates only has 30 phrases. 28, I meant. So I'll run through a sample of them. So I should address this too. So like all the characters are going to have a rendition of calling each other out. It's just Sogo has an exclusive one for his uncle. But everyone has their own ways of referring to each other.
歴史は変えられなかったようだな。なんで魔王になる道なんか選んだ。そうか。それなら、俺は今ここでお前の道を終わらせるだけだ。変身。この時代のお前に恨みはない。でも未来のためだ。消えてもらう。あるさ。感情を枯らすほどにな。運命か。そんなものは俺が変えてやる。あいつが魔王になるのは、この俺が止めてやる。今からでも遅くはない。ベルトを捨てろ。そうすれば、お前が大魔女になることはなくなる。奴が最低最悪の魔王になるはずがない。そう考え出した自分がいた。お前は最高最善の魔王になると俺に言った。だったら問題ない。最低最悪の魔王になったら、俺が倒してやる。必ずな。俺を信じろ。約束したんだ。決着をつけると。奴との約束を破るわけにはいかない。
And then just switching it back. Just to prove. That's it. So Gates, I'm just gonna say, Gates is, out of all four of these, has the least amount of functions. So that's actually interesting. Here we have the Wasp Ridewatch, which this one I'm actually going to cover in differences because he's actually the most improved out of all of these. Because obviously, I had an issue with the mirrored watches. I still have one gripe of them, but overall, like how it functions and such, I really appreciate they went back and like fixed it. Maybe it's because it's a new mirrored watch, honestly, but it's like, I don't know. So here's the comparison with the original Wasp mirrored watch, which, yes, it still has the split and such, but one of the first differences is that they actually made this one consistent with the remaining ones, which, as you can see here, the trigger buttons are now translucent, just like if I pull out. Quiz. As you can see, his buttons are translucent and this is the same, the reset button is the same as the base color, which is now the same with this one. As you can see, the reset button is black. This one has its colors as gray. Next, as you can see, and also I'll just say this too, this is actually much more sturdier, so it's not as like loose, but if you can see with here, the secondary color of the original Wasp Ridewatch is actually blue, which was interesting, but I don't understand why they decided to choose that color. This one, I'm gonna need to take that out anyway. This one is just black, so they just made it really consistent, which I just prefer, honestly. And also, just to point this out too, my original Wasp Ridewatch, its clip has broken off, which I can pull here. So this is the clip of the my Wasp Ridewatch, because during my final projects my previous co-producer thought it would be funny if he threw the bag of stuff and obviously something was going to break and it was his own prop. So I'm just already thankful I have this one. Just so then, because this one I do not want to get damaged. So obviously this one functions the same as its counterpart. However, just like Zi-O, Wasp has 4 modes. So the second mode that we're going to access to is Black Wasp mode. Wasp has, I think, Black Wasp has 17 phrases or dialogue lines. And then we hold it a second time. Now we're in White Wasp mode. And then White Wasp only has 9. I think I already said that. I don't remember. Then the last mode, EY mode. This is the majority of Wasp's phrases. So, I'm going to at least go through, I don't know how much. Oops. It was fine because most of these are like literally copy and paste just because that's how the show did it. But if I were to skip through, so yeah, hold it one last time. Now we're back to the normal mode. So I really do appreciate that. I really appreciate the White Wasp mode just because I'm just happy they acknowledge it. Last but not least, we actually have the only new Ridewatch out of this set, the Tsukiyomi Ridewatch. And she's mostly, the main color is a white base, and the secondary color is like a different shade of white. It's like, how do I explain this? So, the secondary color is like a more clear white than the base, because the base, I want to say, it has some like tint of like very faint pink. So the QR code for Butaba Gamba, and she is 012. 23, which, yeah, you actually can't read that. So obviously she has the common Geo symbol in 2068. Her face. So when we activate it, I think it's really interesting they actually picked a yellow LED for her. I actually thought they were going to do a white LED, which I wasn't actually going to be fine with, but yellow actually surprised me. And there's her description, which I'm actually surprised it's not the same as Geo and Gates. And she actually has a time machine sound, which is actually really cool. Because she's always just like piloting like Sogo's, or it was technically her time machine. So like, it would have been a cool. I don't believe it's in Hasty generations for Rare with the first generation, but obviously switching modes. Tsukiyomi has 30 phrases. We get it, you're scared because I So yeah, again, just like Gates, her and Gates don't have like a secondary mode at all. So like, and yet like, I just don't understand how Tsukiyomi has more quotes than Gates. But let's finally get to the Jiku driver. I should have said drivers, but so if we just play with the watches like normal. Obviously, everything's still the same. So obviously, that's the highlight of the memorial sets. Technically, somewhat being like a CSM like edit of having in-show like sounds of like the watch straps like circling around Sogo, and having the characters coming onto his face and such. So obviously we can do the finisher. So obviously we do our normal everyday time break. However, if we go onto the voice mode, this is where things change. So obviously we just do things like normal. So obviously this is still normal until we press the button. As you can poorly hear, there's Sogo saying Henshin, so we might as well do that. Again, everything seems normal until we hold down the button. Now we have Sogo saying his catchphrase. Now if we do the finish time, or the finisher, you can actually interrupt this too. It will still continue and such, and then again, CSM quality of finishers. We get the characters screaming out their lungs, or just sounding extremely violent. So I really appreciate that they do that. I really just Solo sounds so violent. I can't stop emphasizing that. He sounds so violent. But yeah, so that's basically it. It will do the same thing on this side, but if you want to see this side, watch the demo. But obviously, Sogo actually has another mode for the Legend Riders. You can actually put this into the Jiggy driver and, get the same thing that we already did. So just to demonstrate, I got build. This still acts like it's in the second mode, so you can still press this for Sogo to say Henshin. So now we're the build armor, and again, we have to hold it down. Now we have Sogo saying that, and then we do the finishers. Nothing changes, really. It's just the vortex added with Sogo's violent scream and such. So, yeah. That's basically it, because again, if we do we do this. That dies. I literally only did this just because I'm really tired of people literally doing it so wrong. But yeah, so that's that's basically how these watches work. I will show the others, but again, if you want like the full way of how this works, then watch the demo. And then obviously switch it back. Here's gates. I'm actually gonna do these in the voice modes, just for time. Again, same thing.
この時代のお前に恨みはない。でも未来のためだ。消えてもらう。フィニッシュタイム。タイムバースト。
Obviously, if we really wanted to, we can add revive to this. It's like revive actually goes really well with this, but I'm too lazy to grab it, so yeah. Let's get the belt we don't want to get back. I can't believe I had to bring this out again. I don't remember how you frame this thing. So obviously we're gonna do, I'm gonna do just the initials of each mode, so this should be the normal mode. So that's very typical of my setup. It can't, this can't even like be viewable. So obviously we get the time explosion. This still does its thing. So Black Wasp mode. This is going to be difficult to hear, but again, that's just, you can't even see. But interesting thing with this one is that the transformation doesn't actually stand out last here as long anymore, which is interesting. But obviously we hold the button here for the phrase. And obviously time explosion. We can still do this, but obviously it's not going to stop this. So we get Wasp doing his thing. Whoops. One thing I actually do want to point out too is that if we do transform, and then we hold the button, it just completely cancels it out, which is pretty interesting. So, White Wasp mode. So just like that. And then it's actually still the same thing, which is weird because white and black ones have distinctive tones and voice. So I don't understand why they just recycle that. And then just to show EY mode. Nothing. It just acts like this mode, so yeah. Okay, before we go on with Tsukiyomi, I actually do want to cover this one a bit just because the way this one works might actually kind of intrigue people, just because you might like just assume that, oh, this is going to work the same as in here, but it actually doesn't, because obviously when you insert this in the GQ driver, the button doesn't do anything because of the fact that it has to play the standby, and I guess you can't interrupt it. And then also because of how this originally was in the GQ driver, that after you can't press anything, so you can't get any of the phrases. The only thing you get out of the White Waz or Black Waz mode is from the finisher. So yeah. So let's get on with Tsukiyomi, because she's the only new watch out of this. Obviously, she has Geo2's standby. So obviously, we got Tsukiyomi scrolling through 2068. Obviously, as you can hear, the turning sound came from the Ridewatch itself, as the belt does not have a sound program for that. And I just really like how well timed that is, even if it meant that this had to start before Tsukiyomi actually had to start or scroll through. So next, her finisher. So Tsukiyomi's finisher is the Time Jack, which could possibly lead back to the fact that her and Schwartz are siblings, and as he's a Time Jacker, I don't know my lead-in. So obviously, the dialogue mode. Like, I just really appreciate her transformation. I wish she had a shorter phrase and one that was more memorable. But I understand they have to throw something in, but then honestly, I would have. I'll get to it later. I love that so much. And obviously, as you can see, like, attack scrolls through instead of like Time Jack is possibly because they didn't have an idea. They probably didn't know if they were actually gonna do it or not, because apparently they were gonna make Tsukiyomi into some monster. So that's it for the Giga Jar. Let's go on with the weapons. time for us to have a throwback. We're finally bringing this weapon back, but forget it. I'm just no. I angled this all wrong. Goodbye. That's all. Why did I forget to pull this out? Last but not least. Yep, that's it. That's all for Decade. Well, so yeah, that's really it for this entire set of the Memorial Ridewatch Set, which I really appreciate this set overall, because, okay, like, I guess comparing this to X-Aids, there are definite improvements, but I honestly think just because, it really depends on the show, I guess, for, like, your opinions on this, which I will say this is not as great as the X-Aid ones, in my opinion. Just because, like, again, I think it. I guess your opinion on this is just on the show as a whole. I thought Zi-O was alright, which is why I just think. I just think it's funny they made a memorial set for Zi-O. Just because, like, most people aren't fond of the series. So it's just like, I feel like this set kind of had to prove, like, it. I understand it's for, like, the fans of it, which is like, this set just had to prove its value, and the way they did that, I don't necessarily like, because the way they advertised this set bothered me, because obviously the huge selling point of this set was the Tsukiyomi Ride Watch, and I just don't think this should have been the one reason why you got this set. This is the same complaint I have with the Saki Rube Gyro, which I promise I will eventually review. It's just, I feel like I need a certain crystal to actually finish it off. But to constantly reiterate it, just so then, for people, so then I can repeat it again for people that don't watch this, or watch the times I've mentioned it. But the issue with the Saki Rube Gyro was that the huge selling point they did for that was the fact that it had the finishers of the Ultramen, and essentially for, like, all crystals, which kind of, like, again, it's just like, you know, it's not like, oh, I generally want to buy this because I'm a fan of Saki. It's I have to buy this because it has a function that's not in the original toy. So that's the thing with this. You're not buying this because you generally like Zi-O. You're getting this mostly because of this ride watch. So it's just like, you know, there's that feeling of like, I don't want to get this, but I have to. But because I genuinely actually did want this set, I don't, like, I guess to, like, get myself back on track, because I don't know what I'm talking about. This is one of the most unorganized videos I've done. because this is probably because it's the first video. This is the first type of thing of this caliber I had to cover. But it's just like, I genuinely actually did want this set, especially because I predicted this set like 2 weeks earlier, 2 weeks before it got announced. Because I was actually kind of like thinking to myself like, oh, okay, why isn't they made a memorial set of Zi-O? But they can't just release these 3 watches. There has to be a catch, and this was the catch. But I would defend this reasoning though, of the fact that like, so basically, if they did release a Tsukiyomi Ridewatch by herself, it would have contained Colts anyway. So it was kind of like a no-brainer of them just like, okay, we might as well just release these 3 again and call it a memorial set. So I can't really blame them for like what they chose to do, but I understand like people just not wanting to get this set because they either don't like Zi-O or they don't want to rebuy 3 ride watches or 2 ride watches and a me ride watch. But let me get to this too, because this can actually be a like, so like, obviously if you like just, I guess, started your Zi-O collection, or if you like started collecting Zi-O really late, this set can actually like be helpful because you can actually get Gates for a affordable price because Gates is really expensive. However, if you still want the main 3 with their like non in-show transformations, then by all means get these ones. Or I guess Gates if you already have the GQ driver and Beyond driver, like, unless you got them used by themselves. I don't know what the heck is going on in this video, but I appreciate all the work that went into these ones. And I guess going back to what I was originally talking about, like how these were slight improvements over the X8 ones, is just, it's just the fact they actually did give people the option of actually just having everything without the dialogue and then with the dialogue. But my issue with that is that I liked how X8 did it, where where the dialogue was timed. So like if you're doing like X8 Action Gamer level 4, it'll play Mighty Action X's jingle. Then it will play Juju Burgers, and then M will say, "I'll continue this. I'll I'll play this with no continue. I'll play this burger game with no continues." Like, that was just all seamless and such. The thing I don't really like with these ones is that you have to do it manually. So like, obviously, what I would have preferred is that if the Colts were timed, like, you know, if I'm doing like armor time with build, I want it so that like it does the Zi-O transformation, then the build transformation, and then have the characters slapping on the face sound, and then the quote. But you have to, that can't happen because the sounds are just overlapped. Like the armor time sound is overlapping with the sound of the characters going on the face. And then you have to hold the button. You have to hold the button for Sogo to say, "The law of victory has been..." No, that's not it. "The law of victory has been set." That's not it. And then like you have to hold this for Sogo to say that and such. And then also it's with Sogo 2, I wish they added more with the like the Legend Rider mode, because he does like, I feel like there's at least like, oh, okay, the only one I'm really pointing out too is with O's, that they don't have like, I guess because he doesn't say anything, but like what I would have liked is that if they did one for O's, instead of his violent, he should have said Seiya. Like, I would have liked that for O's, honestly. But, yeah, there's just, and like the fact Gates has 28 phrases and such, and like Tsukiyomi has two more somehow is amazing. But I guess if I had to be honest, like if I had to pick my favorite out of here, I honestly kind of had to go with Waz, just because like all of his modes are really distinctive. You get the Neuro mode, Black Waz mode, White Waz mode, and EY. But however, I do feel like with the EY mode that he's not really putting as much enthusiasm to like the EYs. He's just, you can tell he's just reading like a script. And then I do want to point this out too because there's just so much to point out on this. But I think especially with these two, they have quotes that are, I don't know if it's one way or the other, but these two obviously have quotes that are that not programmed, that are from the Omageo driver. So if you don't want to pick that up, but if you want some quotes of it, then this is a good substitute. But obviously the Omageo driver is its own different thing. So yeah. So basically, the recommendation for this set is just if you're a huge fan of Geo, and by all, I already said by all means, then go pick this up. I got this off of Collectibles. We got it 50 deposited, and then it was another 5 for shipping. So I got it for 55. However, I do think it's fine getting this for like 60 to 70 because you technically are then paying 12 to 13 per watch, so it does make sense. But if you obviously if you just want to go find the Tsukiyomi Ride Watch, that's gonna be really difficult because I have not seen this listed by itself. I've seen these three listed by themselves on Mandarake, but Tsukiyomi herself, yeah, you might have to bite the bullet, and that was horrible. And go get the set altogether. I don't know how long this video is. It is. I apologize. This is PowerRider. Now, if you people finally, finally,